Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon, gentlemen of the media. So today from Civil Aviation, we had three memoranda, and one was stood down for us to revoke it for more clarity, and that is the memoranda on the establishment of Aviation Leasing Company. Remember in my brief, we said that the purpose of that company is to be able to afford or to give entrepreneurs in civil aviation the opportunity to be able to lease equipment and get funding that will be of benefit to them and facilitate their businesses. So the second memoranda is approval for the award of contracts for the establishment of fire truck maintenance and refurbishment center in Vietnam. And this is a very critical procurement for us. It is to tend to all the issues we're having with fire tenders all over the country. In the past, first governments used to ship this firefighting equipment back to Europe where they are manufactured to get refurbished and bring back at a cost, and of course it takes time to do so and export our labor and our foreign exchange. So the Buhari government decided that we should establish one, and that center will cater for aviation firefighting equipment, including all other firefighting equipments around the country. In fact, it's not going to be limited to only firefighting, it will be for heavy-duty vehicles that could be maintained. And the intent and purpose is, as they gain experience, we go into assembly of those trucks here in Nigeria, similar to what Volkswagen and Peugeot is doing, and eventually start to manufacture our own. So the setup will be with an aim to achieve that. But the first initial contract is to set it up in such a way that we'll be doing maintenance on those equipment. And the contract sum for the awards was the company Mrs. Avsatel Communications Limited won the contract for the setting up and the equipping, and is at 7,913,949,964 naira, Nigerian naira, even. This will be involving, of course, 7.5% VAT. And the second contract under that is the building itself, the building of the maintenance center, which is Mrs. Ingenos Nigeria Limited, at the sum of 3,985,432,685 Nigerian naira even. And the other one is the civil works around it, which went to Mrs. Glovesley Pro Project at the cost of 1,120,640 naira, 154, and of course 63 kobo. This is within our own threshold as a ministry, so it didn't come to council. But the two came and they passed, and the completion period for this procurement is 12 months. The second memoranda is approval of the business case, full business case. Now this is a roadmap item for the Ministry of Aviation. We seek to establish a maintenance, repair, and overhaul facility where aircraft will be maintained here in country and will be a departure from the former, where aircraft are flown to Europe, to America, or to Far East for maintenance. In this particular case, we'll be doing the maintenance here once it is established. There's a lot of debate, and people have said we have Mrs. Aero Contractors, we have ARIC, we have others that are having MROs. Well, those are MROs, yes, but they are not to the size and to the level that we envisaged. Those are doing small single-aisle airplanes. But this one is going to go the whole hog. It's going to be a full center for full A, B, C, and D checks on wide-body, multiple-aisle, high-capacity airplanes within the country. This will stop us from exporting our labor, our foreign exchange, and will transfer technology, and then, of course, begin in the future to put together and manufacture certain parts of aircraft, and of course, the aircraft itself. So this business case is for 30 years, and the company or the group that won the thing is Mrs. AJ W. And they came in a consortium with NAYAC Aircraft Services. NAYAC is N-A-Y-A-K, NAYAC Aircraft Services, and Mrs. Glovesley. Glovesley is G-L-O-V-E-S-L-Y, Glovesley Pro Project Limited. And they will be paying a fixed fee of sum of $30,000 in the first year, with annual escalation rate of 3%, payable annually and in advance. And the other fees that are variable, 0 to year 5, 1%, 6 to 10 years, 1.5%, 11 to 15 years, 2.5%, 16 to 20 years, 5%, and 21st year to 30th year, 12.5%. The total amount of money they will pay the federal government is 185 million, or 750 rather, million dollars, American dollars. The total amount of money to be paid to federal government is $185,750,000. This is a fixed fee of $1.4 million, variable fees of $51.1 million, land rent $6.82 million, and corporate taxes $126 million. So this is the second memorandum that was passed, and we're happy to say that gradually our roadmap items that we started in 2016 and chose the way of PPP, which takes time to come to fruition, is happening, and we're glad and excited that this will be a game changer. Thank you very much.
I think we take health since we've started from this side.
Yes. Okay, thank you. The memo that we presented at FEC, the Ministry of Health, is for the procurement of MRI equipment, that's magnetic resonance imaging equipment, for the Bafemi Awolowo University Hospital. You may not be aware that the Chin Hospital have only one 0.2 Tesla MRI equipment, which is no longer up to standard when you compare it with the advanced technology that has made the availability of 1.5 MRI equipment for diagnostic services in most hospitals, both within and outside the country. So they have been having challenges of giving the very best of health services to people, patients who come to the hospital for diagnostic services and treatment. So today, Federal Executive Council, in his wisdom, approved for procurement and supply of one unit of 1.5 Tesla magnetic resonance imaging machine and other accessories for the Bafemi University Chin Hospital, Ile-Ife, in favor of Messiah's CG Biostat Company Limited, in the sum of 592,271,792 naira, 792 naira 48 kobo. This sum is inclusive of 7.5% VAT with a delivery period of 6 months. With the procurement of this equipment, it is strongly believed that most patients that usually travel to Lagos and some other surrounding environment close to Ile-Ife to seek for better medical services will now be able to have the comfort and the leisure of staying back in Ile-Ife to get all the medical services they need in terms of diagnosis and treatment at the Bafemi University Teaching Hospital, Ile-Ife. So we want to thank the council for the privilege of receiving this kind of approval, which will go a long way to strengthen the health services at Bafemi University Teaching Hospital and its surrounding catchment areas that will be benefiting from these services. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Police Affairs.
Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to announce that the Federal Executive Council has today approved the award of contract for the Nigeria Police Trust Fund for the supply of vehicles and insurance cover for several other vehicles at the total cost of 4,541,829,704 naira 17 kobo. The vehicles consist of Land Cruisers, Toyota Prado 21 model, and Toyota Camry, and the Land Cruisers are about 8 in number, while the Prado about 8 in number also. And then the Toyota Camry vehicles are about 44 in number. The vehicles will be supplied by Mrs. Kaura Motors Nigeria Limited and Mrs. Wada Auto Motors at the cost of 1,200,400,024 kobo and 1,489,950,000 naira respectively, totaling 2,690,350,024 kobo in total, while the cost of fueling of vehicles has also been awarded to Messrs. Gostu Global Resources Limited at the total cost of that is about 5,093,770 liters at the cost of 1,039,169,880 naira respectively. The vehicles that were about supply are to be used for tactical operations, supervision, and strategic deployment in a bid to strategize for better security networking, as well as aid strategic deployment of tactical squads to tackle insecurity across the country. The insurance cover is intended to cover all the vehicles purchased by the Police Trust Fund between 2020 and 2022, involving about 450 vehicles, assorted vehicles for that matter, also at the cost of 812,309,823 naira 93 kobo. We have a Leadway Assurance Company, which will take 70% of the premium, while Mrs. Name Insurance Company will also take 30%. This is what has been approved for the Police Trust Fund at just concluded Federal Executive Council. Thank you very much for your understanding.
Thank you, sir. Works and House, would you rather be here?
No, I'm fine here.
Okay.
They can see me here. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. So the Ministry of Works and Housing presented 2 memoranda, and they are largely PPP based memoranda, and I will explain how. In 2019, January 25 specifically, you might recall that President Buhari approved Executive Order 7, which was a road infrastructure tax credit scheme to allow private sector invest tax liabilities in advance in infrastructure. And that policy has helped us to finance roads like Obajana to Kaba, Apapa, Oshodi, Urushoki, Ojota Expressway, the Bodo Boni Expressway in Port Harcourt, and about 1,000 kilometers covering 21 roads under the NNPC investment. So there is increased uptake for that policy. So today we have 2 more. So the first that was approved today was the one by MTN Nigeria PLC, the telecommunication company, to take over and complete the ongoing Enugu-Onitsha Expressway. That road is 110 kilometers, which is being dualized. So you have 110 kilometers times 2. The outstanding works aggregate to about 91 point something kilometers on both sides if you accumulate it. But those who use the road, you will see that the Enugu-bound section has been largely completed, but there's a lot of work to be done on the Onitsha section. So this policy is going to allow a steady and sustained stream of funding to completion by MTN, and the amount approved is 202,887,436,672 naira and 11 kobo to complete the outstanding works of an aggregate of 91.9 kilometers on both sides. The second memo also was under the tax credit scheme. And whilst the first one was related to roads linking Anambra and Enugu states, this one is with respect to a road in Abia State. Now, the road is called Umuchichi Ususu Umueme GZ Industries Road in Abia. The beneficiary, the private sector beneficiary of the approval, is a company called GZ Industries. GZ Industries manufactures aluminum cans for bottling drinks. They have a factory in Agbara in Ogun State, and they have another one in Abia in this area. So it's a link road to their factory. The approval was for 4,205,454,855 naira and 26 kobo. The road is a 3.7 kilometer road, so it's an access road to their industry. Council approved both memoranda. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. From the Ministry of Labor. One is the ratification by the Council of the International Labour Organization Convention 181. Essentially, this one seeks to permit the operation of private employment agencies in countries. If this is carried through, Nigeria will be the 3rd African country after Ethiopia and Morocco to approve. And this is about protection and the rights of, people. All of you here are employed as house helps and these cooks. Some of them treated as slaves. Government is interested in being treated with decency, with respect. And of course, their human rights are fully respected. And the second memo by Labour is, and for which approval has been given, is for the adoption of revised national policy on labor migration and its action plan. Again, this is also about the protection of the dignity of the Nigerians. And it's a two-way thing. Nigerian government is interested in protecting migrant workers who are here with us and our people who go out there. They shouldn't be treated like slaves and just anyhow discriminated against in so many respects. Certainly, this is a policy that is coming, as the memo said, to confront the challenges of illegal migration, illegal employment, exploitative processes, forced labor, smuggling and human trafficking in our society, and entrenching general, as I said, obligation to respect basic human rights of human beings. So please go ahead and ask your questions. The ministers are ready for you.
Thank you very much, Gloria. I don't think this is restricted or applied to Nigeria alone on their decision to do visa on arrival. From all the information we got, that they have other countries or many countries, as it were. We have contacted Nigerian Immigration Service, also Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs as they are, to deal with this. It has nothing to do with the relationship between Nigeria and Ethiopian Airlines. Both, Nigeria Air is a fully private sector-led initiative, and the Ethiopian Air, even though 100% owned by government, but they have been running on their own as if it were a private company. And perhaps even with COVID, I'm not speaking for them, they did wonderfully well. They posted $1 billion profit. In the past, what concerns us really with them is there is a policy which is not done by the airline, but a policy of their government, that once you have $3,000 or above and you have not declared at the point of entry, they seized it from Nigerians. And we pushed that case, struggling with them for two years. So what Ethiopian Airlines did, which is noble, and which I think should be commended, is that right there in the terminal building, they built, within the 2 years we were negotiating, and they said they will, they built a super class hotel, a 4-star hotel, where people that are on transit don't need to go into town. So you don't need to go to customs to declare your money or get your money seized. So you remain within the hotel and board your next flight, even if it is 72 hours ahead. So that has solved that problem. This particular one, I think, is initiated by their own Ministry of Interior and Foreign Affairs. They applied it on countries. It's not unique to Nigeria. But that said, it came to our notice, and we spoke to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, our own Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Immigration Service to deal with it, and the embassy as well. And I'm sure that Nigeria is one of the markets they cherish well. So they must look into the policy. Thank you. So on my side, the question is that it is very premature for me to give you an answer because we're in the process of putting together the full business case that will be approved by council, inshallah, shortly, and the airline will kick up. But just to throw light on this civil aviation business within Africa. So there is an AU Agenda 2063, which seeks to integrate Africa. And there is a CFTFA, which is the Continental Free Trade Agreement within Africa. And there's also single African air transport market. So about 90% actually 92% of airlines doing business in Africa are non-Africans. And it is high time that perhaps African airlines begin to come together to form like an open market, an open air sky, where every African airline worth its name can tap into the advantage of this 1.4 billion people market. And then, of course, given the chance, we're always going to partner with the best. And by the way, Ethiopian Airlines, if they are approved as preferred bidders in the full business case, they are members of Star Alliance. So there are 3 alliances in the world. The One World, which is Qatar, British Airways, and so on. The Star Alliance, which is Lufthansa, Turkish, I think, and Ethiopian, and many others. And then, of course, the Sky Team, which is KLM Air France. So whichever you pick, you're going to be a member of a huge, big international consortium and alliance. And also, I think civil aviation has transformed. You do code-share, interlining, and partnerships, and so on and so forth. So really, it doesn't matter. And in terms of capacity, most of the international airlines that are there in the world, honestly, Ethiopian can compete with them substantially. Some of them are owned, like Ethiopian, owned by government. They enjoy certain leverages, but they're not doing badly. And like I said, I don't want to preempt, and I don't want this to dominate the airwaves. So please be patient to wait for the full business case, which is coming, I think, in maximum about 3 to 4 weeks. And the airline will certainly be alive soon. Thank you.
Okay, it's at this stage difficult to quantify the damage to the roads. The only thing that is clearly visible at this time, and that's because the flood is still receding. So it's when all of that is gone that we can really see how much damage has been done. The impact, of course, is that just like in any situation of extreme weather condition, travel logistics are hampered. So some of the roads are difficult to traverse. It has caused some backlog in logistic movements. We are seeing already some disruptions in supply chain, like fuel and some other things, but we hope that when the water fully recedes, we will see the full extent of damage. But we are already planning our Ember Month movement, which we do in the last quarter of the year. So that will take into consideration any damage that has been done. And we will try and remedy as much of it as resources and time allow, so that we prepare for that heavy movement period during the festive period.
So we thank the ministers for an excellent rendition of what transpired. You want to go? Oh, we thought we had just one. Okay, go ahead. So the two of you.
Thank you very much indeed. So, yes, it is 30 years, and it will be located within the 12,000 hectares of land the government has allocated to aviation in Abuja, around about Abuja Airport. Thirdly, to say that when we say MROs exists, with maximum respect, I would like to say that some hangars for some line maintenance do exist in the country. Or for aircraft that are single aisle, small type jets do get where they get maintained. What we envisage by these MRO is to have a huge facility where multiple aisle wide capacity aircraft, such as 777, 747s, including the smaller ones of 73s and so on, can be maintained from check A all the way to final check D, A, B, C, and D. And it is extremely necessary because the facility does not exist in Nigeria. Not only in Nigeria, in the whole of West and Central Africa, there is none. Or in fact, in the whole of Africa, there is only about 3 of them. The Royal Air Morocco in Morocco, which is serving Air Morocco and France, Air France. And then the Ethiopian Airlines serving largely Ethiopian Airline. And the one in Egypt serving Air Egypt. So if Air Peace, for example, wants to send in their engine into Ethiopia for repairs, which they often do, they have to wait. There's a queue. And then the airplane will be on ground for much longer and losing money, and the service is not provided. So what we envisage to do is to get this private sector to come into the country and establish this huge facility and accommodate all the aircraft that are flying in Nigeria and those that are also from outside of Nigeria. They can come here because perhaps it's going to be established in a free zone and all the advantage that they will take out of a free zone. So it's something needed. There's a question that I answered from you people a long time ago when we reeled out this intention. Someone said there's the one being set up by Akwa Ibom government, which has been going on since 1999 until date. That one also is small to what we envisaged, and they have not finished. And even if they do, the more the merrier. The fact that there are maintenance centers does not preclude any entrepreneur to put more. It's just like car wash, if you like. If you have one in the city, you can have one in another city. And that does not mean that you should not go into it. But anyway, to sum it and say, this is totally different. The capacity is different. The technology is different. The way it's being done also is entirely different. And it's private sector. Thank you very much.
This was a question.
Are
you okay? Okay, fine.
Thank you very much.
So thank you, and we appreciate you. We expect excellent coverage from you guys. Have a good day.